Yes. No, it's not thick. On the Zoom. Okay, it is. On Zoom and audio, videos on, ready to go.
Okay, we're gonna go through each budget. If there's nothing to talk about, we'll just go through quickly and spend more time on the things that need it. So do we want to just go through like this tab? I think we'll just go through the beginning of the tabs and then we're not looking back and forth. Okay,
I think so, don't you?
Yep. Okay. Our first one is commission. I think that one was just, and everybody just step in and talk. I'm not gonna, as long as you're talking separately, we can comment on that. I think it's just a 2% COLA for this. That was it.
Yep, kept the travel the same. Dues went up a little bit. That's it.
Okay. Next, we'll go to the auditor.
Auditor treasurer, so everything's the same, the 2% with the staff. We moved our office supplies to just a county general office supplies. Travel, I did keep the travel the same, so I would be fine decreasing that a little bit if we needed to, because really the travel, auditor treasurer fund lines are combined now for travel. So really, it's just one set of mileage and that, so we could break it out. So I would be fine dropping that to,
2,000.
yeah, 2,000. I mean, it's only $500, but it all adds up, so I would be fine moving that at least to that and see where we're at. As we're making cuts, I'm gonna write them on my sheet, so it might take me a minute to catch up, so we're gonna bring it to 2,000 on that line.
Yeah, and both of the conferences are in the same
Yeah, it'll just,
place, so.
exactly, the only thing is if we have a deputy treasurer attend some of those, I don't know what that's gonna look like yet, so I don't want to totally cut the treasurer's one out.
Right.
Everything else is miscellaneous expense. I found out that was also being used for like the estimated tax statements and stuff like that. So I did increase that a little bit with the price of postage and stuff going up, so that I kept at 4,000, so.
Okay.
Or I didn't keep it, I put it at 4,000.
Okay,
So how much was the increase? I'm looking for that one.
It was 2,500, that's the very last line, miscellaneous expense treasure. 2,500 was for 2024, and I moved it up to 4,000.
You had an increase of 1,500.
Yeah. And it looks like we're already over, budget on that one. And I looked into that, and that's because the tax statements didn't get paid until this budget season. So it was last year's, so I was concerned with that, but it's, because the bill didn't get paid in December. Because we did contract those, final tax statements out, and, the estimated has been contracted out for a while now. It was just both of them last year we switched, and we saved, having it contracted out. I think we figured over $2,000 in postage, you guys, because they get a pre-sort price. So it might be actually cheaper for us to contract it out. I'm gonna have them send me a quote, and even just in the postage it would save, so that might be coming, but
Postage, plus it was my understanding they had to hire someone, right? to
Yeah,
come in and
yeah,
help.
yeah.
So you saved on,
Yeah, so we'll see where we're
Wages.
sitting on our workload and all that too. If
Mhm.
we can absorb it, it's fine, but if it's gonna cost, it's still gonna be cheaper, we might as well go the cheaper route, so. So I will come back to you once they give me that, but when I got that bill, I couldn't believe the savings. Um,
Okay, move on to recorder. That's just,
for anyone limited.
yeah, 2% and a little bit on travel there. And routes. Okay, we'll move on to tax director. Oh, no, there's more of this.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's all,
But nothing is.
nothing else, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tax director.
can we just go back a minute?
Yeah.
We can't increase mills, we're at the point now where we can only increase, right? So it's budget, we hope that comes out in the end where you have decreases.
The increases are in here already, though, that we talked about.
It is already, it's
Yeah,
not
this
a
is
new
the point.
change?
No, no,
Oh, I
no.
thought you meant you were making an increase.
No, 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 no,
Gotcha.
no,
Okay,
no,
never
no,
mind.
for
That's
the
my
year,
way.
yeah, for the year, yes,
Okay.
yes, this is the preliminary
Yep.
budget as approved.
We're just
Okay,
looking at what we've done already in case we need to look.
Okay, I thought maybe it was new when.
Yes, no, nothing has changed, anything that's gonna change will happen in the meeting today now.
Everything is
Tax
just,
director?
yeah, just steps and colas here. Okay, I'll go on to the state's attorney. Any questions on that one? Salaries,
Remind me, the numbers that you put on here, Christie, in red, that's what the department head was requesting, but we actually went with the salary recommended by Tanya, so that's. in the right
Correct.
Column.
Yes, yep, yep, so the red was the original
Original
submission,
recommendation.
yep, yep.
Mhm.
any questions on the state's attorney budget? Okay. We'll go on to. Excuse me, risk management. Went up for extra help. Well,
He hasn't been using it, but I believe Jason said he was going to start in 2025. That plan, so that's why year to date it's still zero, but. And then buildings and grounds is the next one in the next tab, it's on the same sheet, but. Deal with the whole thing on the next tab.
Okay.
So then there's buildings and grounds and county park. Actually, county park will be down below too, so we'll just worry about that. Buildings and grounds on this one.
With the I'm having a flashback, but I can't remember, what's the extra help, like we increased Mickey's, but, so the budget is for 41,000 on that line, and it's been at,
For the, what we've advertised for,
Full-time position.
yeah. We're budgeting for that,
If we ever get to hire somebody.
yeah. Yeah,
So we have it under highway. And
no, it's under
No, this would only be for the, help for, making for buildings and their.
4160. 4003. Is that what you're looking at, Christie?
yeah, I have a duplicate, that's why I say it now, I have it, it's in here twice, I'm like, it looks exactly. Well, it is, there's 2 sheets in here.
Yeah.
So this is county general money still. Biggest increase on this line, I think, is the buildings and ground improvement. Last year was 44,000, this year the request is 100,000.
I got written carpet there.
What code are you on, what's the number?
4160,020 on the second page.
Where was the carpet for again?
The second line down,
Yeah, no, but where, what building with the carpet?
Chase.
What's our building? We gotta keep it up. I mean,
It's our building that's not utilized very well anymore.
it's the second floor.
doesn't mean we're gonna use it for.
Yeah, it's budgeted for, doesn't mean we have to spend it. More people pull out than.
I mean, are we gonna carpet offices that aren't being used? That's, I'd like to know a little more about what's going on before we approve that.
Maybe for hallways and things and go from there, but there's other things that have been coming up with our buildings and grounds in the last couple of days. The front doors, we're gonna have to have fast doors come in and reseal those in the courthouse. Because it rained yesterday, we had about a quarter-inch of water on the main stairs that was cut in the entry and all the way through there. We have roof leaks on into the furnace room of the courthouse here where it was a steady flow through. We'll have to go fix that. And another one over in the law enforcement center for roof leaks there as well. And those would be all things that weren't in its for plans for being repaired. Yesterday we had water leak in 3 of the 4 buildings on campus.
And I just wrote carpet, but that's a small, but part of that 100,000.
Yeah. Any more questions on buildings and grounds? Okay, go on to maintenance.
So I wanna look at this real quick.
Yep.
I had started,
Your next one, you get
or miscellaneous.
Sorry,
Oh, okay.
miscellaneous. No, don't.
No, I don't wanna go there.
It'd be a big step.
Thought I knew this, that we would be able to decrease this, just one second. let me get your date.
For buildings and grounds.
No, on the
Miscellaneous?
utilities.
Hmm.
The first one on utilities. And I looked at year to date when I was reviewing it, I thought I had this, oh, I don't know where I put it, but. When I ran year to date numbers.
Mhm.
Looked like we could cut maybe. Couple thousand for sure,
Which one would we?
yeah, that's, just putting it right now. Okay, so year to date as of August 31st, for the utilities. So the second to the last column, 2024 year to date total was 60,727, but we only have. September, October, no, 4 more months left. So I can't imagine we're gonna spend 60,000 on the last 4 months of the year. So right now, as of August 31st, the first line 011 year to date is 15,482. So granted, we'll have winter months for heat and all that, but I feel like we could drop that maybe. For a couple thousand at least,
Year to date, we're only at 15,000?
yeah, 15,482 for the 011 fund. Yeah, for the utilities courthouse,
Oh, you had a warm spring.
Oh, there we go, okay. Just for that top one.
yep, so
Okay.
that top line, so that's an option, and then the next line would, year to date is 13,189. So that's. We have budgeted 25,000, so that's in, and then the next line, 013. Isn't even 10,000, so it's like $9,800 that we've spent. 14 is about 18,000. So that means we have an extra 12,000 budgeted for the next 4 months. So I mean, I know that utilities are hard to budget, but if we're gonna try to cut somewhere, I think that. You know, it was at 103,000 in 2023. And that looks like it was pretty close.
Mhm.
So I mean, if we wanna even cut it down to 105,000, find,
Yeah.
you know, 5,000
5,000
somewhere off of,
Yeah,
you know. I would say,
Should we decrease 5,000 in that utilities? Area?
you
yeah,
got 105.5.
105, yeah, and then, I don't know what lines, if we wanna just drop each one 5,000, just to
You
make
can
it
decide
easier.
that.
If I'll just do each one
Do
1,000,
the overall total and just figure out where you need it.
okay? We'll drop it by 5,000. And then the election expense, I'm looking at, or I'm sorry, we had increased it to 35,000. And then we removed, the 5,000 for the, odd year building repairs. State fire. We just paid that bill for 2024 and it was just over 14,000. I was looking back at some of the bills, but I don't feel comfortable dropping that anymore.
Let's leave that there.
Copier paper, year to date, we are at like 1,400, so 1,500 to me is safe. Postage meter, that one. Yeah, we're at 26,000, so. So we wanna cut 1,000 or 2 off of that and keep it at 30 like in 2024. It doesn't matter.
Will 4 be enough to cover that, you think?
What's that?
Will 400,
30,000.
or 4,000 be enough?
30,000.
the 30,000, right?
No, I don't, I'm misspeaking.
Oh,
I'd probably leave that.
just leave it
You
at,
just don't know where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You
Okay,
did have something on here too, pre-buy stamps, question mark, I think we talked about that.
Let's go.
The forever stamps.
Okay, on the next page. This is miscellaneous,
yeah.
everything's up a little bit on this one.
My question, Christie, is, county audit. For,
Yeah, I was hoping that we could pull it from somewhere else, cause we were budgeting high on like health insurance and all that, so I figured it out and I don't really think we can
pull it from,
pull it from there. We just have to, I just have to watch and hopefully we can cut costs as a whole in county general enough to assume that.
Yeah.
But I was hoping, so as long as the county general fund is within budget, what you guys approve, each line doesn't have to be within budget, so we have a little bit of wiggle room with that. Same with utilities, stuff like that, so. I don't think there's anywhere to pull that from.
Okay, moving on to the next page.
So I was hoping health insurance on this one, we'd be able to drop, but I ran it as a. Like August payroll with the new rates and there wasn't enough wiggle room, it was a couple $1,000 difference, so.
I just leave it at.
Yeah, I was hoping that.
Okay, let's go on to technology, social security. Everything's up over there,
Yeah,
placing computers.
yeah,
Go to the animal it is.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. No, just a small increase from social security and retirement. Because of the 2% salary increase in staff and all that percentage goes up, so that's all we figured that.
Your technology's up 70,000.
Technology,
Replacing some computers, I have written down
10,000 from 2024.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at 23.
Okay, then the sheriff's.
The first page is pretty much on salary, yes.
Same thing, the second page. Third page is some miscellaneous.
2211, yeah, 22, yeah.
Any questions on this?
That whole tab is just all. For documents. And then the whole budget, so. We just have two for those. In with that one.
In with the dip.
Yeah. Is the next one, right?
So this is, well, this is all,
But, yeah,
it's all double, yeah, okay, all the work paper, yep, okay, so next is. Okay, County Park,
So there's another building and grounds improvement, 44,000 last year, 100,000 for 2025.
So that is, so the way that it prints out, we already discussed the
Yeah.
down for buildings and grounds.
Oh,
So here,
okay.
they're looking at next year, I'm gonna, so
Got it, so.
it was
it's a
easier to run the report.
Okay, so
with-
there's.
Yeah,
Got it.
any questions on County Park?
well, it just seems like it's a lot of money for,
Yeah, it sure does.
I have a question mark on the extra labor. At 10,000, so it was 10,000 last year, and now it's a request of 22,000, and we were talking about. Salary for the actual caretaker and then adding more.
Adding more what?
Labor, cause isn't there less out there? As far as like for family,
Yes.
and no overtime. So why is our extra labor up so much?
Put in there in case we need to bring out the highway staff to do extra work out there. Because in the past, the highway staff was paid for it, and then through century code, the highway staff cannot be used on the rest of it. It's against codes for and the constitution of the state for them. So we can't pay them, because the highway staff get paid out of the roads and bridge. The highway distribution fund, that funding can only go towards highways. They can go towards things like Omni or here at the courthouse. Law enforcement center.
So this is to pay the highway staff when they do jobs out at Combi.
Yep. And hopefully we don't have to use it.
and it looks like you did in 23, but so.
Well, they do some of the work out there, they can, I mean, as far as getting the,
Docks,
Yeah.
Docks and stuff,
Yeah.
sand on the beach or something.
docks and
Yeah.
things, but yeah. I'm hoping we don't have to use it more than much.
it might be something to look at next year, moving some of the salary lines to a non-highway distribution line. So that, cause we're taking county general money to pay highway distribution for salaries. So maybe there's a way we can get around that, you know, that's $10,000, that's a fifth of a mil, you know? So maybe there is some way to get that moved into like buildings and grounds, where it's county general money, sort of a deal, or that extra help. That that new position, maybe that's the person that could be going over there doing that stuff instead of kind of. Cause we're tight against our 60 mils and it's, you know, it's. They get paid good money, the highway guys,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, rightfully so, I'm not saying they're overpaid by any means. But you know what I mean, maybe that's something we can be creative
Yeah.
looking at in the future, ways to decrease. the
Well,
salary.
we're always looking at a way to decrease that general fund if we can.
Exactly, and so this is a big. You know, $10,000 if that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a way we can get that into buildings and grounds more than highway.
It's a position. we can do that.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's something that next year, just without knowing, I don't say cut anything now, but. Just in the back of our minds, be creative with some of that stuff and try to keep it. Our county general within our county general instead of.
Okay.
And still, the utilities, is still 20,000. For next year, are we gonna look at having different meters put so that we're not paying utilities all winter long? When it's closed?
Of the agreement from when she was hired.
I was gonna say, we were in the agreement when she was hired, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know, because they never lived out there all year long prior, so they, right?
Well, before she was hired, Randy lived there all year round, so that's a
Really?
different animal.
I thought somebody said they went down south.
Well, Yeah, no.
No, okay.
Both
Had that
of
agreement
camping
with the-
out there is 4 people.
Oh,
Four kids. It's not-
I just feel like we're putting a lot of money into this park and it's not getting utilized like we used to. And why is that?
I have a note
Oh.
here,
Part of the reason is Park River, the campground that they put in, they put them all down in there.
Oh, I know, I don't ever see hardly anybody there either, I mean. Not, you know. But,
yeah, it looks like we only get 20,000 in revenue a year, and we're still paying 110,000.
Do you know what we used to get, Christie? Does it say, have we had a decrease in revenue out there?
I haven't even looked at that, I wonder if maybe Jason mentioned it, cause I just have it handwritten about 20K, yeah. I just have it written, I haven't looked.
So we get 20,000 in revenue and we're putting in 110,000 from the taxpayers' monies. Taxpayer money to keep this park going. What are our options? Because I don't think we're getting a very good bang for our buck.
Make it a county park and not a campground?
I mean, can we do something here to change this? Because 110,000 is a lot of money.
$1.5 million.
That's $1.5 million so that a few people can count.
You use the high, you know, where if you have extra labor to do the jobs you need to do to make it a nice park, but you release, especially when there's another option for camping. In Park River now, that's my other thought, I mean, it's beautiful out there, but then you look at Pawnee and. I don't know, how much was it, how much now do we, these smaller ones with blue green algae and.
well, but we didn't even have blue green algae till,
Late,
So,
late
this
so,
year.
Late, and
We
it
have
still is an
another-
issue.
you know.
Two campers out there right now, one's just here because of beats, the other one's in that campground because the house that they were moving into is having issues with plumbing, otherwise right now we have two campers out there.
So if we reduce the camping, or have camping,
It'd be no revenue.
would be no revenue, but could we change something with the caretaking then?
What is our rate?
What's our requirements?
You're still gonna have mowing and different things that
Yeah.
to do it, otherwise you take a look at just, the only other option I know of is to. Talk to the Corps of Engineers,
Oh, yes.
we're not interested anymore.
I'm gonna say, what's our agreement with the court? Are we,
I'd have to look at, I don't know what that agreement is, I'd have to go, I'd have to talk to Valley City to find out what that agreement is. But that's the only other real option that I know of, is just to. Well, wow, I don't know, I mean, it's one of the things I ran into when I was at North Dakota State Parks and Recreation too, you go, you do these renovations, you do these different things, but there's a reason why KOA are going out of business. Because by the time you do all the improvements and electrical, water and all the different things, and for how much you're charging people. It takes, by the time you get it paid back, you're starting over. That's more of it's.
There has to
it's-based
be-
service.
I drive out to Porterville Dam, that place is packed.
So is Icelandic, you
Yeah.
couldn't even get in there till after school.
Yeah, so something's going on here, why aren't they coming to Porterville?
There is.
Part of it is the Corps of Engineers won't allow year-long or seasonal.
Yeah.
Well, they don't at the state park either, though.
No, but.
But Fort Lee
That's work though, that's what they're doing.
Well, but for.
that season long pass is a big deal.
We've talked about it and they won't budge.
Yeah, I know,
I know that, but I mean.
You're asking what the difference is, that season long pass is a big difference. People can park it, leave it, and be there all summer. Instead of coming out every, how many days we got, 2 weeks and you gotta be out and back and in, that's it.
Jason,
We can, at state parks and recreation, you can only be in Icelandic State Park for 2 weeks. Then you have to leave, you can go to a different state park. We have people that pay on a monthly basis that they can stay at the park for a month and $600. The big difference when you try and, you can't compare Omni with Icelandic. Icelandic State Park has a nature preserve next to it, they have many trails that they have, you have things all year round that people can come to, they have historical venues and building tours. The association that's with it, the American Public Air Association, that put a lot of money into the park as well. We don't have those, we have a volleyball court, we have a campground, and we have no real room for any expansions for putting in any miles of trails or anything like that. We have the beach, and we have the fishing, and when you have blue-green algae and you're not supposed to have anybody in the water, you have nothing, shuts off. And there's nobody coming in to do the recreational aspects at this point in time. And when you go down to the fishing docks, they don't have to pay an entry fee to use the fishing docks.
So-
Because Game and Fish helps pay for that portion. So as long as Game and Fish pays for portions of renovations and doing those different things, you can't charge those people. And
So if those places are full, where is everybody else going camping then? I mean, we haven't, have people just stopped camping?
from COVID, they're going back to other places and different things, but I don't know where they're all going.
More campers.
There's a lot of things that have gone downhill. over
But there
there.
must be a dozen campers sitting at the ball then, campground right now. They, you know, when they sit there all summer.
But I think a lot of those, like ones in the ball dam, I think a lot of those would be like big construction workers. or-
They are.
There was no place in Park River, so they were going out to Hummy. You know, well, they're not going out to Hummy now, they're just staying in Park River because there's.
Shopping and convenience.
And Park River probably let them sit there all summer. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't, because they're not.
Grafton does that similar too, you know, a lot of people for.
Look at our,
Yeah, same with Grafton Park here, I mean, a lot of those people look at who's actually staying there, I mean, it's not people that came into camp for the
No,
weekend. It's-
they're there for,
They're there for the, and I think when Park River added the site in town, it really took away that group that was staying out in Tommy, because there was limited places over there to stay.
Art's
So-
got 6 campers now.
So another thing then, I think the host should be done away with, because I don't think somebody should sit there without paying
no,
for
you're right.
camping there then.
Especially when someone living there year round.
We have a full-time caretaker, we don't need a host to clean the bathrooms for us or whatever
Well,
they're doing.
Yeah, that's. I think we should not have hosts then.
I would like to see us look into what our options are. I mean, Porterville Down does not have a full-time caretaker out there, that place is ridiculous. And there's lots of campers there and I know that they can stay long-term, so I know that makes a big difference, but I would like to look at what our options are.
Who takes care of
I
it?
don't know who does, it's through Grand Forks County, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to see us check into that, see
Yeah,
if we can.
Warren, but he isn't, though, I mean, he still stays over, but he isn't the caretaker.
No.
No, I don't think he is.
Because somebody, if it's meticulous and it's mowed, somebody is mowing that. I mean,
And it's
Big jobs.
huge, it's way
Yeah.
bigger than Holly, and it's beautiful out there.
But it was, he stepped back from what his role was.
So maybe we have some other options, because right now I don't think $110,000 of taxpayer money going out to Hommy is just, it's too much.
I think it's something we gotta look to before our spring meeting, you know,
yeah,
whether it's even, if she's there full time, if. I mean, you can hire people to mow lawns and everything too, and people mowing cemeteries and everything else.
Yeah.
To what point, how much do we spend? We can probably do it, don't own the equipment, have somebody come in and probably be better and.
at least take the extra labor off, except for putting the county.
Yeah.
You know, putting that in a different place.
Mhm. Like you said, yeah.
I would leave it as it is and try and improve it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on. Go to emergency management. These are all celery here.
Yeah.
We're looking at the left or the right. I'm confused.
Which red, are we, there's some crossed out and
Yeah, no, the right, yeah,
Okay,
right, I believe. No, the left is the new ones.
I was gonna
Right.
say the left has to be the.
Yeah, the left is the new
okay.
ones. Yes.
Cause when you go down to the last one on that first bunch, we're 95,065. We use that instead of the 97? Or which one do we use?
where are you at?
It's in the final.
disaster emergency civil, whatever, 4240. You got 95,065 in red ink, and then across to the right, you got the request of 97,464.
I don't remember how that one.
Yeah, it was a decrease there, so.
I'm thinking we used all the red printed ones.
I have a note, that's what was originally presented, but
What's that?
I have a note by the red that says originally presented.
But then to the left.
The left red or the right red?
The right red.
Okay, when I
And
add,
then the left red I have used for preliminary budget.
Yeah,
The
the
left
left,
red.
left is the one we're using.
yes, so when I add the left and then the ones that do not have anything, just in black, it comes up to the 95,065. So that is the amount,
Okay.
that was the preliminary budget. Brent fills out his budgets for me, so he has that Adobe, so then it's harder to adjust. I mean, I love it, I'm glad he does it, but that's why this is different, because I didn't have an original. So I did it from that, so.
Okay, so then down on the salaries, what are we using there?
I'm gonna look at that.
I think it's the ones to the left, because this
I
is
was
so
thinking-
like, she just retired, so that's why you went more.
Yeah.
Lower.
It's numbers way on the bottom, it's what then became the
Yeah.
final.
Okay. Then the second page,
I think that's the best can go to, there'll be other tabs, I think that have.
still emergency management,
Yeah,
okay. Okay, the third page.
it's just all,
But it's all equal, yeah,
Supporting.
okay,
Can you just remind me why the safety training went from 0 to 2,500?
So the safety training was, I didn't have a safety training.
Oh, that's what it was.
You gave me that quarterly
Gave me.
training and that, so it was. I don't know what I'm doing with it really yet or what it's, but just so
Well, you're
there's
doing-
some funds there, if we bought in a speaker or a trainer or.
Okay, that's right, I just needed a reminder to,
Yeah.
I don't know, thank you,
you're doing a good job there.
yeah,
So that's what that was.
okay.
So I didn't, that's a new line item. I didn't have a line item for that.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
LEC board is next.
yeah, so that's the 4600s, so we already looked at.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, next year I'll have it,
It's
figured better. See the bottom now,
Oh,
we're in
go
now,
here.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
For the department heads, it's easier to have it all on one report, but for
Yep.
us, it's not, so I'll
Yep.
break it out for us next year.
okay. Okay, yeah. Benefits, some benefits were moved a little bit from that. Okay. Other funds were moved. Oh, okay, anything,
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think it's
Okay.
the next one.
go on to the town fair. Pretty straightforward there. The bottom line? Yeah. Right?
Agent, is that whatever?
Yeah.
County agent director.
Yeah.
Right after.
Yeah. Oh, wait, okay. Okay. Any questions there? Any victim assistance? Salaries?
Hey, can we just go back? I do have a question on travel agent or on, but county agent. On the travel. Yeah, sorry, on the travel, for county agent for 2024, it was 5,000 and they bumped it to 12,000.
Both agents going is what I have written down
Two people going for conferences.
for 8,000. For having parentheses that.
So that's if they hire another person? Or who,
It seems high.
it seems very high.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, I have in parentheses 8,000. I don't know if that's what we talked about, maybe
Yeah,
going
going to, because here we still have 12,000 on there, so. I just think that sounds very high, even if two people go.
8?
Yeah.
Yeah,
8,000.
I think it's more than just. You know,
One
for
conference.
Yeah, one conference, but bump it to 8.
I think so.
Okay.
So you're taking it from 12 down to 8?
Yeah.
You could be going down the road with their thumb up, we know what happened.
Yeah. Better be that much. Okay, then victim assistance, that's just salary. Some miscellaneous. Then. Highway department.
Can I just go back again? Because we talked about that, we, you know, we wanted to be really. Really transparent to department heads if we did redo something so that they had a chance to talk to us. Should we be giving Katie a quick call in case she has, in case she has something where she says, oh, wait, no, I need that because of. I'm just a little concerned, or don't we want to do that? I mean, we already gave her an option to come, so.
I can shoot her. a text.
Yeah, would you, I just feel, you know,
I don't care.
we're taking 4,000 away. And I think we should be, but what if she comes back and says, hey, wait, you guys forgot about this? I mean, that was a big complaint after our last year. We were cutting budgets and we weren't working with the department heads, so I wanna make sure we're working with them if it's a major cut. Okay, I'm sorry. You can
Oh,
go on.
you're fine.
I keep interrupting.
I don't wanna start, well,
It's kind of specific ones, so.
I mean, if she thinks she can live with 8 versus 12, great, but.
Yeah.
well, we'll move on to hobby, or to
So who?
highway department. So say hobby. Hobby. Okay, first page is. Their salaries and some miscellaneous. Second page, it's all. Pretty straightforward here, I have no. Notes. Next one is,
Why was our new equipment loan doubled? Can you remind me?
Thank for being more years.
Yeah,
3 motor graders.
yeah, your motor grader.
Yep.
And then what you guys are looking at is the combining of the 3 funds. So this is a consolidated one, the road and bridge. County road and the MFA,
So everything for him is here.
for those 3 funds, yeah,
So that's our 30 mils. Is that what you're saying? Or-
correct.
Total of 3 funds up, it's over $6 million. That 10 mils is just.
Yeah.
With a 10% of their,
And you look at Fargo, one mil now, what is it? It's a million.
and we're not keeping up.
Well, we're falling behind every week, every day.
Can I ask Jason, with the gas, oil, fuel, is this just numbers that is only like half the year or something? 110 for 2024, and there's still 60, almost 65,000, is that just?
We're, the highway department goes through about $14,000 dollars a month.
So that's,
15,000 a month, right?
and then, but that went to 375 for. Is that with the tanks or plan on this project?
That's.
And then the other lines too had, gas,
3 different fuel lines.
yeah, yeah, they're all combined now into one.
So that tank project is how much?
Oh, you're way up there.
Am I, sorry,
Yeah.
that's okay, let's be dry out.
That's the first one I had to.
That was 100,000. Where we pumps and that computer system that goes with it. Cause the control system that really have completely updated, there's no more parts for them.
So if it was 100,000 and you used what we used for gas last year, gas, fuel, and oil, you had 110,000 budgeted last year. And then another 100,000 for new pumps, tanks, that'd be 210,000. I'm still not seeing where we're coming up to the 375. I mean, I know your gas, fuel.
I didn't write anything there, so I don't know what, I didn't even, so it wasn't a question, but there's some other stuff back here.
And you already asked about the new equipment loan, Christie? That was the 400,000.
Yeah, that's paying for 3 motor graders.
Motor graders, ditch side mower. That's new equipment.
For some reason, that 100,000 seems low on those pumps and that gas, to me, my memory.
That was what they were okay with the pumps, it's just, if you had to do it in the tanks, then.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have 100,000 for pumps.
But that wouldn't be moving, you're talking about moving, correct?
Fuel
Or
tanks.
replacing, I mean,
Just for us, we're not moving anything. So replacing the other thing is if we went to try and reduce the number of pumps we have. And go to the pumps that distribute both gasoline and diesel fuel, then we have to redo the entire stations. And that's just, that cost is being crazy. Then cutting cost and the pump actually goes up on it as well. We're leaving the system exactly the way they are right now. So we're not going to one pump that needs fuel and one pump that's gas.
I don't like running diesel fuel and gas through the same pump.
Well, it helps us keep sure no one knows he's doing the right pump.
Sounds dangerous, doesn't it?
Oh.
Yep. Hit the wrong button, put gas in your diesel? No.
so when it was broken out, separated out, the 2002 fund. The request was for 110,000. 2024 was 110,000. Then fund 2004, gas and fuel was. Request for 240,000, adopted for 2024 was 220,000. And then the 2005 fund. Request was 25,000, adopted was 10,000, so if you add up the 110. The 240 and then the 25, that's where the 375 comes from, so.
So this was combination of several funds.
Right, yeah, those
So
three,
the fund-
yep, yep. Yes, but the breakdown is behind, on the sheets behind, it's, cause originally we had filled it out separated.
Yeah, that's on that, one of the last pages is where I have it all.
Yeah,
So it doesn't even include the new pump then?
no, I have the new funds as the new equipment loan, I have mark on. That it went up from 150 to 200,000 and my fuel tank pumps need to be replaced on that line, but I maybe. Put it in the wrong line, I don't know. I don't know why we would put it in that line, but
Well, so I was gonna say, why would we have new equipment under gas, oil and fuel?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a new equipment?
It'd be under the improvement, yep. So I'm not exactly sure what happened when we increased those. Hopefully we'll need it. It used to feel at one point it was $4. I think one of the things we're looking at there too, is if we were having to increase to go to the stations and not replacing that.
No, yeah.
so like year to date, I just ran it, so. The one fund is at 67,000, I could add it up. Not that, I don't know if it matters or not, but.
But you're kind of thinking those pumps now, right, and you're new equipment on for 400,000, it's not just the motor graders, it's the pump too.
And the more that we're able to work
Yeah, ditch side.
is that one.
Fuel tank.
That makes more sense.
Next year will be easier when we quit moving everything.
Yeah.
This is, it's so confusing.
Well, and then there's no, historical data to it when you combine it, so yeah, you almost have to have it separated out and then combined.
Yeah.
It looks like those three lines right now added up, year to date is like 154,000, but. I mean, there's still plenty of year left for that, so.
We don't spend that much.
Well, harvest and everything started, but even the beach will be bleeding a lot more.
Cause right now, the budget that's turned in for the highway is how many mills, and we know we have to get it down to 30 mills, right, for the highway department.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know what we're actually at right now with what you turned in.
To get to the mills, I think the easiest thing to do. Is to, the asphalt chip and seal project I put in there for was a certain road. And in order for doing number 9. At rates that we had right now, and without that. That's where that money will go, so to me, to make sure we get done with the mills, it's just building the one project. With the asphalt chip seal budget, which I think I had in the 700,000. I just did not do that project.
so when I take the $3.3 million that this 2002 fund now is divided by. The 66,736. It will take 49.64 mils to. Generate enough revenue to cover this. So that's showing that there's 19.6 mils worth that. It'll be coming out of his. Fund,
Over, you're saying that.
yeah, so we only have 30 mils, so we have 19.6 mils that. He will be using his surplus, his cash reserve, that we're all allowed to have cash reserve. He'll be using cash reserve for that. If he spends it all. Does that make sense?
That's.
Right, great. Any questions on that?
If we get the mills and, if the mills pass in November. Then where's that 10 go back into this budget? It doesn't. So-
This year we're off.
Because it's,
So it just, that money just sits there for next year.
So next year.
Yeah, we can't assess that until the next year.
So there won't be any money that sits there, it just won't be assessed, correct?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like not like we're gonna get it now, so we're gonna have to wait a whole year, you're gonna go a year without those. I don't know.
So we're just gonna have to, I'm just gonna have to look at cutting projects. It's
Yeah.
just flat.
You can't do anything if you don't have the money.
Yeah, so it's like $1.3 million.
Yeah.
So we'll have to look at making cuts to fuel, so making cuts to, basically the whole chip seal project is gone. It's not gonna happen, so there's 700,000 right there, so. If I cut $100,000 on the fuel budget,
Are we cutting that or is it just I mean,
The 375.
no, the 700,000, or is that just if things don't pan out, Jason?
to me, I have to make it inside the budget, so, I mean, we're gonna have to. I'll be doing a lot of planning, when everything's finalized, as to what's gonna happen and what's not. And this year with the loader, it's costing us an extra, probably $100,000. For extra gravel that we've had to put down and extra blading and different things for it. There's some spots we've gone for multiple times that in the past we never did, it used to be gravel, we got done. This year we're going back to spots that were older, that it's just back in mud. So there's one section that's been gravel a few times. And now we're getting into weeds, so, what we got?
And it's wet out.
Certain area. Which it always does when we get to weeds, it's always gets green.
Okay, any more questions on,
I just need to know, are we approving it at the 3.313? Or are we going to? And then just let Jason watch his budget lines, or are we making cuts today or not? To see how it all goes.
One, being we went through everybody else's budgets and made cuts, right? Why would we
Okay.
treat this separately or differently? I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
The one good thing Jason has is, you know, money, so he has enough to, you know.
Yeah.
Cover this, that's, you know, that's maybe a little bit of a difference. That he does have that cash reserve sitting there, but
The only thing and going past years, if we can do a project now instead of 2 years down the road, we save money every time. And that's the only thing I'm basing it on. I don't know if we wanna cut, if he has it and we can do the project for me, let's move forward. Look at how we're backing up in the highway.
I agree.
The bridge, every day there's something going on, a bridge here or something there. If we've got the money, I think years back when we borrowed, when the feds. California didn't have money and we improved 2 bridges because we had the backup money to do it. Well, how much money do we save there? So. It's hard to say, to keep it in there, but if he's got it to cover, I guess. You know, tomorrow might change his decision if another bridge goes down. We still probably won't do the paving, but we'll do a bridge then or something, but yeah.
And I hate to cut too, I mean, we hope that will
Oh, yeah.
go through, but if it doesn't, we're cutting budget, now we're even
yeah,
even deeper, I'd rather be.
That'll be, yeah. The big
That
one.
highway department, it's just
Yeah.
a revolving animal, you just don't know where you're going with all the projects.
Well, I guess like the concern I have here is under fund code. This one we were talking about for the new equipment loan that went from 200,000 to 400,000. Okay, so 2002, 4,000, 2002, 4012, it's on the bottom of the first page. We said that's paying for 3 motor graders and new gas pumps and a mower, ditch side mower. But then I go to your fund. Several pages back, 2004. 4013. It says new equipment loan. We've got 200,000 on there and I had new pumps and motor graders like that, so maybe I have my note wrong, but what?
Both of them are combined now, so it was $200,000 in the past, now it's 400,000.
So this sheet, I shouldn't even, this is old or something?
which one is it, Chrissy, the 2004?
Yeah,
So the 2004 is separated out, 2004 no longer exists, but there's no historical data on the 2002, increasing it to 400,000, so in order to look at. We're itemizing them separately, but then at the end, the mill is actually a 2002. For that reason exactly, because if you're looking at it, it's like a $200,000 increase. But then when you look at them separated out, then you see where the expenses were.
So you
Yeah.
just put this in here for historical data then?
Well, when we first originally did it, we didn't realize that it had to be combined this
Yeah.
year. So when Jason originally presented his budget, it wasn't until we started looking into it further after preliminary budget started. Remember, it was like the day before we met that we came across that, so
So we're looking at 2002 quotes for him, that's the current ones.
that's all three funds
Funds.
combined.
Combined in
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, but if you wanna look at history on expenses, you'd have to look at them separately, the big work behind.
Gotcha.
That's why I said it'd be nice next year when we don't have all these lines and we're not changing, confusing.
Okay, any more questions on the highway department? As is then? Okay, go to the next, veteran service. Those are up a little bit,
Yeah, so
because we kind of cut them short there.
we cut them
before,
short,
So.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the columns on the left, the ones in parentheses is. We wouldn't want it to go lower than those amounts, but we did increase them enough to get them positive again, so there is room to. Budget a little bit, I think, if we needed to.
Okay, health district,
They're asking for 150,000.
I had a note on here that we were gonna maybe ask, them to go 50-50 on the jail nurse. Anybody remember who was gonna ask?
What'd you say?
I have a note on my sheet for the health district that we were going to maybe ask them to go 50-50 on the jail nurse. I think right now is it 2/3, 1/3?
I have 32 hours here just written, I don't know what else.
Did you have any budget for Jones?
Yes,
Yes,
for 2/3 of the jail nurse.
Mhm.
That's an increase from this year. From 1/3.
With the whole woman jail coming, no, I think we need to. Maybe more mentally.
I don't know, I don't have anything else written.
So they were 161,000 last year. They're 150 this year.
So it looks like it went down. By.
Cause when you did the paperwork, the numbers didn't crunch, it went down. Cause remember I said it as a joke, I was gonna ask him if he could give us some more money back, well, then when you did the paperwork, I felt bad because I never asked him, and then all of a sudden it did go down.
Yeah, the mills,
Yeah,
yeah, so they requested less and then the mill is worth more. So then, yeah, it dropped it by 0.43
Yeah.
mils. Yeah,
And he was okay with it, because when I told him this, is like, you know, I didn't know this when I asked you to drop it.
yeah, he
Yeah.
gave us what he needed.
Yeah.
Okay, go to 911 cell. That's all pretty basic there.
That's all on those, the rest is all just supporting paperwork.
Mhm.
Brent, any luck with hiring yet?
They did hire, Morgan from Pembina County. Started today,
Oh, great.
and then, have an interview tomorrow afternoon. People have to.
Was one of those for Amy's job then?
Yeah, Amy or.
Yeah.
We've had one that's been open for
Yep.
a year.
Yeah, they were sure.
So right now I have one opening and I have an interview tomorrow, so we'll see.
Okay. The reason I ask is because I had a note on here, it's going to be an open position, we were estimating it at a set five for budgeting purposes, so.
And I did. For next year, Morgan will be at a step 5 because she's dispatched for us before and she's dispatched from Pembina County.
Very good.
What's your last name?
Well, it was Lockstone before, but
Oh.
she's Morgan, sure Desi now. She married one of the he's in Pembina County.
Oh, okay.
Works here.
Well, she worked in
Sure,
Pembina County,
yeah.
close to dispatch center, so.
Okay. Anything more on the?
I did have a call. I never heard back from Katie, but about the library,
Yeah,
did she call you?
well, she emailed me, so.
Are we on library?
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
I didn't
no.
know, I thought you said we were. Never mind.
No,
Oh,
let's,
wait.
we're on hazmat now.
Jumping ahead.
Yeah.
We're on hazmat.
Okay,
Amy.
I know.
Patience.
slap my hand.
And that's all pretty straightforward there too.
Yeah, there's not much things there.
Okay, next is weed control. Any notes there either?
Did we drop from a 5-member board down to a 3? On weed control? Okay, but maybe that was last year, so we didn't need to update our budget this year. For board members,
But it probably, but I mean, you're talking like $150.
right, it's
I mean,
minimal,
it's,
yeah, I just noticed that, so.
and the new more member is farther away, so the mileage is gonna go up.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's.
I just was kind of clarifying,
Yeah.
we actually had transitioned over to the 3-member board, and so we have a full board, right?
Well, if he shows up at his first meeting. We haven't had a meeting since we had it.
Okay.
We don't
Okay.
get that.
All right,
Can't manage it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, let's stop.
so let's go to JDA. That's pretty straightforward too, just with the mills. Any questions on that? Okay, next is water resource. Same thing there.
That's a consortium. No,
Water resource, yeah.
oh, what about? Ernie, were you gonna talk about the, they didn't want us to pay that one,
Yeah,
was it the Devil's Lake?
no, the Devil's Lake we wanna, it was the Red River. There's 2 of them,
Red River Basin. Red River,
I think it's the basin they don't want us instead of the joint. If I remember it. It's the one that covers, it must be the basin one, cause that's the one that goes into Canada and stuff, I think that's the one they don't wanna support. We never get anything out of it,
The $5,518.
I think that was the one, yes. You could check with them, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. We don't even hardly ever talk about it, that top one.
So that one's added to the number 1, yeah, so $5,518 of that. Request of the 93,000,
okay,
yeah, so it's weird how they do it, but. So you want me to check with Sarah and
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah.
report back before you guys approve the budget?
I guess it's up to these guys, but if they don't wanna support it, I don't either, 'cause we don't get enough money out of it or whatever, or help.
Yeah.
It's just money being spent for somebody else.
Madam Chair, I did hear back from Katie, I don't know if you wanted me to.
Yeah, sure.
She said if we hire, we might not have enough for all the travel. We have 2 full weeks of training for each agent, and it's a good idea to be able to attend a national conference for professional development, then travel for around the county. I know we haven't used it in the past, but we haven't been fully staffed for more than 2 years in the last 8, I would guess. So I think it's that startup. You know, if they do get someone on, which was, when was the last time we had someone, I mean, Brad's was in that position for so long that I don't know what he would have gone to for, you know, you get someone new in, you wanna
Yeah.
make sure you educate them right from the gate.
Yeah.
So that was her feedback, I
We
guess.
don't,
is-
I would leave it in there, if we don't use it, we don't use it.
I don't feel like she's wasting it, I mean,
They do have a reserve too, you know, so
in that line,
in that line, yeah, cause that's her own fund line. So, you know, we've been budgeting Brad's salary, so for a while,
Sure.
so there would be room to absorb some of that without,
I think quite a bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
especially if we're
for
not,
salary,
yeah,
if we haven't hired anybody yet.
and usually if you hire somebody, they don't go to a national conference, boom like that, it'll probably be, you know,
Be
probably
there.
looking at it next year.
she seems pretty frugal, so it's not like she overspends, so there's, you know, $4,000, there's a, you'd think room to absorb somewhere within that budget, but I can look to see where she's sitting on her fund balance. Not that that's
I
everything,
guess I
but
prefer to budget it once we have an employee on and then if you're thinking about sending them to a national conference, cause they're highly unlikely they'll go right
Hope
away.
we don't go for a year without an agent again. Have they had any more?
no applicants, really.
yeah, so like that fund balance right now is at like 170,000.
So why would we increase
Yeah,
it?
no,
Take the four.
yeah, go down to 8.
Cause you know, that's what the reserves are for, you
Yeah.
know,
Let's,
and we've gotta be careful on
Tell
the, each fund can only have 75%.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so,
Explain it to her.
Yeah.
She would just have to come to us essentially if someone was hired and, or she could just use a reserve, or
Sure, she could use it.
depending on the
The
amount,
amount.
I think it's
Yeah,
based
but
on
she,
how much,
what
yeah,
she knows.
yeah, yeah.
You just do an amendment to her budget at the end of the year, she was expensive.
Mhm.
okay, next is county library.
So Jill did reach out to me on this, so they submitted their budget for 125,000, for 2025. And that equates to like 2.33 mils. She said that the county has an agreement with the library stating that they're gonna get 2.5 mils. I didn't know of an agreement. And I just explained to her that they submit the dollar amount that they need. And then it just computes itself, so I didn't hear anything back from her, but, I don't know if you guys have any backstory on that agreement or not.
Is it 2.5 or is it up to 2.5?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, and last year they got 2.02. And so this year they're getting 2.33. So,
Because the premiums, though, they were at 2.02.
no, that was 2024.
You gotta know your 4 mils. from the
Oh,
city,
this
two
was
from the
20,
county.
oh, this was, oh,
What was that?
Yeah,
Gotta know your 4 from the city, 2 from the county.
well, we've told them that they submit their budget and then
Yeah.
they get it in the dollar amount.
and that's what I told,
So,
just it's back to Joe's.
And I haven't heard back.
I think
so-
she just needs to be reminded of it.
Yeah,
Oh, everybody's used to doing it the
Yeah.
old way and forgets about
Yeah,
doing it.
legislation change,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also have on here
And
that,
then they see stuff in the paper about, coming back to get more money and so, anyway.
looks to me like the $6,000 increase was mainly for salary. The increase in budget that they requested. How many people do they have working there?
Yeah, for this year.
Right. Yeah.
So, if it's salary, it's salary, I guess.
Well, are they getting a bigger bump than our county employees are?
Well, they're in charge of deciding that. So. Their board decides that.
Right, so do we, I guess my point is do we have to approve that total increase?
Do we have any say over it?
We-
It's one of those different boards
It's
again.
their board, so I don't,
I don't know.
I think we do have say over this.
I don't know.
If the boards are appointed, then you guys do have final say. If the board
Oh,
is
they're elected.
elected,
I gotta
then
remember,
we do
then we
not.
would
So
have
it's no
fun.
different
Right,
than
so
like
we don't
the
have to
board.
just approve what they're giving us, so I guess I like to look at it and know what I'm approving. I don't agree that we say to our county employees, oh, we can only give you a 2% COLA if the library is giving us 5% COLA. I mean, I don't know what they're giving.
Did you?
Yeah, we never
to
get a
see-
paper.
We never get.
We never get the total to what they do get.
13. That's nice. I thought it was right here. In here, but.
Yeah, so on here, that second sheet that she gave us. Under 4,300 gross wages, 2024 budget was 118,900. 2025 is 126,000, a difference of 7,100. If I'm looking at that right. The next page, I think she gave, right, there's a
Okay,
second page.
yep. Okay, yep. Mhm. Seems to me she had another half-time employee or something like that. Because of,
Well, I mean, you're on that board, do you know what discussed, what their COLA was going to be this year, or?
no, see, though.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't feel right saying that, hey, we can only afford to give our employees a 2% COLA if we're allowing another board that we're appointed to give a larger increase.
I think they were hiring another because of somebody, the board, saying they had to only have this many people. I don't think they got any more increase than, but
Pretty good balance there too, when they're checking out there.
so.
Yes, I think with the increase in the value of the mill, I'd like to see that we need to give them the same amount of mills as we did last year.
And that was what, 2.3?
2.02, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to give her a chance to get back to us too. We asked Katie, so if there's
Yeah,
any reason for this.
I'm fine with that. I just like, yeah, I'd like more information. We get kind of a bulk information always on payroll and we never really know what's going on.
So at 2.02 mils, that would mean you guys would be approving a dollar amount of 105,730.84. Approximately, so it would be cutting their budget by about 20,000.
So if you
She
look
has to
at,
have a chance to.
so if you look at their annual budget, when we talk about how much you can have in your reserve,
He's real.
she's way over. They're asking for 100, whatever, budget, you get 100, just the top one, 170,000. They got 174 in checking, 22 in CDs and 19 in reserve. So can they get spanked for having too much in their reserves?
Well, I would assume that it would be the same.
I'm asking, I think they could, just like any other budget we do,
I could look into that.
yeah?
Yeah, you can, if you wanna just, okay, it with her, we'll.
Yeah.
Come back to that. When we,
Yeah, because it was just
very
a
good.
year or two ago that we made other departments
Yep.
Well, we reduced our mills because they had too much in reserve, so why would we treat the library any differently?
Well, we wouldn't, I mean, we're not, if that's the case.
I guess I just forgot they had that much in reserve.
Yeah.
But how does that work with the city mills?
Do what?
How does that work with the city mills? If the city's got 4, we've got 2, how does that work out with their savings? I mean, are we,
Yeah, I don't know that it mattered,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know,
they have to figure that out.
Proportionally, I mean.
yeah, they're sitting on a pretty good.
Has, has the city ever fluctuated there, what they give them? I don't know.
Well, did we have counties that were paying towards this library, the counties, and they pulled out? I mean, Ramsey, Nelson. they
Well,
pulled
Ramsey
out.
did, Nelson did.
Nelson pulled out, yeah, and I thought one other, I thought there was a couple of.
Was Kevin there?
There was only 3 in there.
Yeah, and we're the only ones left,
Right.
so I don't feel like it's even a requirement. Right, I mean, if the other counties could pull out,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that we should pull out, I'm not saying that, but that's what I'm saying, I don't think we're required to just give them whatever they ask for.
Well, especially since they got a nice flush.
I guess what I'm saying is, why didn't we question that the first time? I didn't have any notes. I don't know.
I think I did question it because I haven't.
Oh,
Well, I'd look into it, cause
Yeah,
that's an
we'll look
awful
into
big
it.
reserve.
okay, well, let's move on then. Cause we won't give any answers to this. Let's see. Historical societies. And that is just their request for 5,000 and
I'm sorry, which one I want?
historical.
Let's see.
Okay. That's just the 5,000
Yeah.
and then senior citizens.
And then the quarter mil, right, they want,
Right.
Historical.
yeah, for historical, yeah, so they're requesting $14,400 in
Okay,
a levy. And then they are also asking for the $5,000 grant from the county, and I don't think we paid that yet, but I think that they submit in 2020. So they submit for their grant, and I don't believe I've received that yet. But I can reach out, well, they'll reach out if they need.
yeah,
But
they will.
any idea how much their money they're sitting on?
well,
I don't know.
Not very much,
I don't think,
Yeah.
I don't.
probably not very much.
Well, they've got that land.
They're doing updates, you know. I mean, pretty soon they'll be, well, I don't know, I shouldn't speak for them.
so they did submit their grammar checking.
Yeah, I've got that, but I don't know what they've got in the savings account.
Yeah,
36,000 in
That's right,
savings.
yeah, we have,
What's that?
They have 36,000 in savings, almost 20,000 in a Bremer CD, 7,500 in a Choice CD. And 9,900 in a First United.
see that then? Then
Is that very last page?
Total of 85,000, almost.
Yeah,
No, there's it.
Lots of stuff to take care of in the historical deal.
Okay, next, soil conservation. I think we're.
yeah, that one time.
Regional council. We're giving them the same amount as we did last year.
And that comes out of our 60 mils.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Oh, mine are off. Yeah, senior citizens, they are not requesting anything this year. That is.
mhm.
So we reduced a few lines and then I will check on the political subdivision 75%. Max reserve. And get that to you guys by the meeting October 1st. I think it's October 1st, and yeah. That's when it'll all be approved, so. Was there anything else that? I'm gonna check with Sarah on the water board.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to,
Yeah, October 1st will be our next. But that gets approved during the meeting, correct?
correct, yep.
Jason. You typically know, is there anything you need to do on
Uh,
the library or
Do you wanna check to see what the,
the code?
yeah, the code, yeah, if you'll do that, I'll look into this before I proceed with anything. I'll reach out to you before I do anything,
Okay,
once I find out. if-
Or
Yeah.
check another code.
What does all this total up to?
Oh,
How many mills?
No, how many dollars?
yeah, for each one, I can tell you for each one.
I mean, the total for the whole county expense for the year is,
I think it's,
Add all those columns.
well, county general, I'll tell you what county general says, that one's easy enough. The request for 2025 is 6.1 million for
Yeah,
county general,
so the guy could add it up quick.
yeah.
well, I mean, I just,
I'll have that as part of the budget presentation, that,
just for public information.
Yep.
and I just
How
want
much?
people to know what we're dealing with.
I bet you worth 14-15 million when you add it all up.
For some reason I have 17 million sticking in the back of my head.
Probably, I just went through it quick.
I don't, I just feel like that's where we were at last year.
Yeah, 6, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah,
so it's all right there, that thing.
Yeah,
Okay, so for the final budget, do you guys want me to update all of the, like what I sent you, Christie? Update all of the work papers again, so you guys have one final
Yeah.
sheet instead of work papers and stuff?
Mhm.
And then I'll update this. This one here, the combined one, and that should be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys want the next study worksheets too, or no? A lot of paperwork, okay. They'll be available if you guys want.
that's the better,
Wait.
just get more confused when I look at them all.
Okay, anything more on the budget?